Denny Bedard, happy belated birthday yesterday, my friend. 39 years of age, and we're celebrating it right here on Sports Talk tonight.
I feel like a kid anytime I'm around you, Gurns.
You are so cherubic.
The more mature, responsible of the two kids, but I feel like a kid anytime I'm around you.
Well.
No, it was a good day.
Well, good.
Yeah. Next year, if I know my calendars, and I think I do, it'll fall on a Wednesday, so we can assuming they don't tear up our contracts, we can celebrate right here on the radio.
What contracts would those be, Denny?
Yeah,
I do not have one. Hey, Sports Talk tonight, live from the KGVO studios. Remember, we are streaming worldwide on Newstalk, on the AM dial 1290, over on the FM side 98.3. Follow us on Twitter at Sports Talk Back. Podcast online at newstalkkgvo.com. Our phone number is 721-1290. We have a very special guest. She just arrived downstairs.
Yeah.
The former Kodak All-American current coach.
You're going old school here.
Oh, yeah. Current coach of the Montana Lady Grizzlies. Shannon Schweyen will be joining us here, in about 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, great to have Shannon in here.
Talk about the first year and some things they got going on, and that'll be great.
I kept thinking, well, no, she was just on the show a little while ago, but I get it confused with our Tuesday coaches show, which we did through the end of February. She was on that a lot. But I don't think we've had her on Sports Talk tonight since shortly after the announcement was made that she got the head coaching job. So it'll be nice to catch up.
It will. Denny, look at this. I'm going to show you. Look at this picture. Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
What is that?
Yeah, Shannon Kate, number 21, All-American. It's like a trading card.
It is. It's a trading card. It's big league cards. She's kind of laying down on an elbow, holding a basketball with this 80s hairdo, which
90s girl.
Well, it carried over. Yeah. It carried over, but I had to send that to her and Brian the other night because I was.
Yeah, I'm sure she hadn't seen that before.
It was right next to my my baseball cards, so that was cool. Danny, hey, you reading the paper today about the Missoula losing the state A and C track meet coming up here in May?
Yeah, you worry immediately about the repercussions about that and looking long term. Finally starting to get some state high school events back in the city, and what happens? Well,
and just from reading the article, these things are put out to bid, 2 years in advance. MCPS, Missoula County Public Schools, wasn't even aware that there was going to be a renovation on the track, apparently. And the deal is you got to lay 5 layers down. 2 of them were completed. You have to have consistently warm weather for the last 3. Yeah. And wouldn't you know it?
Never happened.
Instead of taking the chance, the High School Association is moving it to Laurel, which is scheduled to hold the 2018 track meet. So what they're kind of getting at is maybe
tradesies.
Or they were going to hold the 2018, so maybe we could have the 2019 or something along those lines. Right. Who the heck knows? But you know what? Kind of poor planning.
Yeah.
Kind of poor planning.
Or no plan.
What's that? Piss poor planning equals something? Sorry, did I just? Well, whatever. It's all good. Yeah. It's all good.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a pretty good chunk of change that might be going out the window this year, too.
$1.3 million.
That's the estimate on that, yeah. So.
Yeah, they estimate.
Well.
I walk into Kyle Stindrud's office, and he immediately berates me about getting the brackets for the NCAA counted up. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go home tonight, because I finally took a picture of Kyle's would-be bracket, and we're going to see.
I don't know why you're making this. You're trying to make that. You're running around your backhand is what you're doing. You're trying to make this more complicated than it is. You got no teams in the Final Four. I only got the 1. Kyle got 2.
But I did so good at the start.
So did we. So did we. We were all after the first 2 rounds. We were all like 29-3 or 30-2. We all did great the first 2 rounds. It was after that.
I know.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be on me.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That's right.
I'll figure it out, though, and if I need to make some eraser marks on there,
I've got where you can take us when I read the live Fuddruckers copy for trivia here pretty quick, so it'll be okay.
Well, Denny, you know what? Why don't we get to trivia? So we can get to Shannon, because you know what? I want to talk to her.
Well, yeah. And if only she wanted to talk to you, but at least I'm here, so... Sports Talk tonight, trivia 721-1290. you know the answer to this week's trivia, you get a gift card for the Works Car Wash. That's available at our friends at Happy Days Car Wash. Brent and the crew provide a gift card for the Works at Happy Days. That's voted Missoula's favorite in the latest Readers Poll, Missoulian Readers Poll again this year. They're on Brooks between Fairbridge Inn and Pizza Hut. So we got that. We've also got a $10 gift certificate to Fuddruckers, world's greatest hamburgers. Whatever you order off that phenomenal menu, you get to go top it yourself. You start with premium beef, buns made from scratch every single day, and then you go pile on your favorite toppings. Now then, introducing at Fuddruckers, the all-you-can-eat slider tour. Sundays from 6 to 9 p.m., it's only $15. You can sample Fuddruckers sliders featuring all of their special toppings on there.
Really?
It also includes wedge-cut fries, a soft drink, or a draft beer. $15. Slider tour, Sunday, 6 to 9 at Fuddruckers. So,
Wow.
yeah, so we got a $10 gift certificate there. If you know the answer, 721-1290. All right, we'll probably get to this somewhere in the show, but Sergio Garcia captured the Masters Golf Championship Sunday. You know, Gerns, it's a tradition like no other.
Do tell.
He is only the third player from Spain to wear the green jacket. So who are the other two? Is that A, Lee Trevino and Miguel Hernandez, B, Jose Maria Olazabal and Sevi Ballesteros, or C, Eduardo de la Riva and Alejandro Canizares?
What about, I got a fourth one for you.
No, you don't. Sergio Garcia
Cheech and Chong.
Oh, Gern. Only the third player from Spain to wear the green jacket. The other two are A, Lee Trevino and Miguel Hernandez, B, Jose Maria Olazabal and Sevi Ballesteros, or C, Eduardo de la Riva and Alejandro Canizares. We need a winner. We need one now at 721-1290. I don't think I made that too hard tonight.
You did not. Denny's Sports Talk tonight is brought to you by Orange Street Food Farm, locally owned and operated grocery store featuring the freshest fruits and vegetables, fresh meats, and a great beer and wine selection. And by Grizzly Liquor, located downtown next to the Iron Horse. Big Sky, big selection online at grizzlyliquor.com. We're going to get ourselves a trivia winner, then we're going to come back with Shannon Schweyen on Sports Talk tonight.
Spring is here, and it's time to get...
Now back to Missoula's Sports Talk tonight on KGVO.
Missoula Sports.
Every second of every day.
We are back on Sports Talk tonight. Before we get to the head coach of your Montana Lady Griz basketball team, this is Shannon Schweyen. We have ourselves a winner on the trivia.
We do. I believe it's a new winner, too. It's Rondi Howard of Florence. Hi, Rondi.
Hi.
How you doing tonight?
I'm doing real good. Thank you.
How did you happen to stumble on Sports Talk tonight, anyway?
I'll listen to it every once in a while. You're talking to Shannon Kate tonight, so
Yeah.
I thought it would be a good evening.
Oh, yeah. She's got star power, let me tell you. Hey,
Yes, she does.
We're going to be talking to her every night from here on out, so just plan on listening every week.
Schweyen Talk tonight. We're gonna market the dickens out of that one. Hey, Sergio Garcia just got the Masters, Rondi. He is only the third player from Spain to wear the green jacket. The other two are A, Lee Trevino and Miguel Hernandez, B, Jose Maria Olazabal and Sevi Ballesteros, or C, Eduardo de la Riva and Alejandro Canizares. What do you think there, Rondi?
B.
Yeah, both double winners, actually. Sevi Ballesteros in 1980 and 1983, and Jose Maria Olazabal in 1994 and 1999, the only other two. So you, my friend, are a winner. I've got your mailing address, Rondi, and we'll get the prizes mailed out to you and let you enjoy Shannon on the program tonight, all right?
Congrats.
All right. Great.
Congrats to you.
Thank you. Rondi Hayward, that's our latest winner, Gerns.
And by the way, in between my 3 naps that I took on Sunday afternoon,
That's what I did.
it was Sergio won on Sevi Ballesteros, what would have been his 60th birthday.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So he channeled the spirit,
Mm-hmm.
kept
Yeah,
those slices
very cool.
from slicing.
Yeah.
I need a spirit.
A few of them.
Especially if we end up in a scramble this year, you'll need a.
I know. Kyle says he's signing us up for
I
something.
know. We've been saying that for 3 years. I guess we ought to get around to doing it one of these times.
Okay.
All right, Kyle's going to find us one.
Hey, there is a golf tournament coming up, though. Before we get to Shannon, this is a great segue. The 37th Annual Montana Grizzlies Conical Golf Classic, sponsored by Summit Beverage. Mm-hmm. It is at Canyon River Golf Club, Friday, June the 9th at 2:17. It might even be full by now, Denny, but if you want to give it a shot, give them a call at 243-6481 or www.gogriz.com. It is for raising scholarships for the student athletes at the University of Montana. And just because you don't play golf, you can still get out there and maybe do the barbecue. So give them a call and see what they got going on. That is the Conical Golf Classic, Montana Grizzlies 37th Annual. Mm-hmm. So there you go.
I'm surprised Mr. Sundberg hasn't contacted us. Say, hey, I want to be on the show to talk about the Classic.
Oh, because he's such a great golfer.
Brutal.
He is. He's coming.
Is he?
I saw him today.
We're getting him lined up.
Well, hey, let's welcome onto our show
Yay.
once again, Shannon, Kate. Those of you who knew her a long time ago, it's Shannon, Kate. Those of you who know her now, it's Shannon Schweyen. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Gerns. How are you?
I am doing awesome. Denny, I showed. I was going through my sports cards the other night, and I found one of Shannon Kate from 1991-92.
Boy,
Yeah.
oh boy.
I mean, leaning on an elbow, holding a basketball, the big hair,
The bangs.
the tan.
Yep.
Tell me, with Facebook now and social media, tell me you haven't seen that like a million times in the last 5 or 6 years.
You know, I actually got a package today from Dave Tester. Do you guys remember Dave Tester?
Boise, he's in Boise, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Dave Tester was
And
a TV sports guy, and he did play-by-play for the Lady Griz for a few years for us. Yeah.
And inside that package was one of those.
Wow.
And Sonia came in and looked at it and goes, wow, this thing's old. It's like
geez.
turning yellow on the back and the plastic's cracked.
Well, mine is
nice.
mine is nice. It's a nice, because Shannon was number 21 and I was number 21, so we were kind of kindred
Bonding.
spirits. Yeah.
Don't-
Journey.
Yep.
I mean, you name it.
A lot of stories.
We go way
A
back.
lot of good stories.
And I was most of them we can't tell, but I was so tickled when you were announced as the head coach for the Lady Griz basketball team. And it was, to me, it was a no-brainer. As soon as Selvig Robbins stepped down, I was like, oh, Shannon's going to be the coach. And then, and I'm going to exaggerate, you lose half your team to injuries before the season even starts, and you play like 12 freshmen.
It felt like 12 sometimes.
I mean, and not only do you lose Alicia Sims, but you lose Kaylee Valley, who is the preseason MVP of the Big Sky.
Yeah.
After both of those, I mean, you can have one injury. You have two. What are you feeling? What are you thinking?
Well, it was just a little bit of disbelief. And of course, disappointing for those other kids because it's always hard to watch your leaders go down. And it just took an emotional toll on the whole group for a while. But very pleased with how the season went on and some of those young kids responded and the way they improved as the year went on. And it was some new territory for so many of us. And I was just extremely proud of them at the end. And now that it's over, it's kind of nice to be thinking about next season and moving on. And, everything's rolling over and we're kind of getting going with some, fundraising and recruiting and things like that. But it was an interesting year in a lot of ways.
Some impromptu redshirting.
Yes. Yeah.
Or lack
exactly.
of,
Lack of in particular. I mean, there's so many kids that we had recruited on that basis that we were going to redshirt them and we had no intention of them playing. And it was tough for them. I mean, they were forced into roles that were very different.
How do those conversations go down? I imagine there's a really high level of excitement for one thing, but when you sit down with those kids and say, you know what, you were probably going to redshirt, guess what, you're not. So good luck there, pal. No, I mean...
not many of them are ever excited to redshirt, even though it's pretty rare if you have a kid who understands the benefit of it and comes in and goes, yeah, this is going to be a good thing. Everybody wants to come in and play.
Yeah.
So
that was not a tough sell.
No, it wasn't. About midway through the year, I think they were thinking, wow, I really wish I could have redshirted. But they hung in there and they got better and battled with us. And at the end of the year, we were playing pretty much everybody pretty tough. So.
And normally, you redshirt and then you as a freshman, you work yourself into some minutes and then you work I mean, a lot of these freshmen that you had got some serious playing time, and I got to think that's got to help down the road.
Oh, I hope so. I mean, next year we've got Kaylee and Alicia back, and then Michaela and Sierra and Jace, some upperclassmen, and they've all had a lot of minutes and will be a lot more experienced next year. And just throwing those young kids in, mostly our guards, in with those big kids and kids that have had a lot of minutes and experiences in the NCAA and everything else, tournament championships. Hopefully that will pass on down, and that was kind of something we were missing this year is those kids had never been to Reno. They'd never won a conference championship, and to not have that kind of leadership, it was definitely a void on the team.
Without asking you to go into too much detail on it, can you kind of assess how Alicia Sims and Kaylee Valley are doing to this point in their rehab?
They're doing really well. They're both extremely hard workers, so it's almost a matter of getting them to slow down and take it easy a little bit, because they both just want to get back out there and you can't keep them off the bike, you can't keep them out of the weight room, and they're just very driven, self-driven, and so I think they're going to be right on target. So that's good to know.
This is Sports Talk Tonight. We're talking to head coach for the University of Montana Lady Griz basketball program, Shannon Schweyen, and 7-23, not.
God, did you have to bring those up?
I did, because
I was going to do that too, but I wasn't going to say the number.
but here's the deal though, 7-23, but you win 4 out of your last 8 games. I mean that's freshman basketball players. I mean that's pretty awesome if you ask me. The improvement that they made over the season.
Yeah, they really did. I just, I think the biggest thing with the young kids was getting them to learn how to play hard for that long. I mean, we all know as freshmen when you come in, and it's just a different level. And then to have multiple kids out there together, eventually things broke down on defense, and there'd be a mistake, and a mistake against experienced teams turned into a layup or turned into a wide open 3. And the league was really good this year. And so it was, as you were at all the games, Denny, I mean, you had one little screw up and it was a basket. And so, they bought into buying defense. We had kids taking charges at the end of the year that were just, probably more than most teams I can ever remember, and definitely more than any group of freshmen I can ever remember. And, the defense helped keep us in a lot of ball games.
Well, and another thing I noticed, too, in fact, I think I mentioned it to you at one of the coaches' shows kind of late in the year. Later in the season, you watched, you talked about defense, but you watched them on offense. And some of those later games in the season, it was like, whoa, that play worked. Whoa, that play worked. It was stuff that you didn't see earlier in the season. I think I asked you, did you install some new sets, or did they just...
We started learning them.
All right.
It took a while. We had them, but we just finally started learning them after 3 months.
Well, you had to feel good about that, because they did start. Yeah. You did start to see some results of that later in the year.
Definitely. The offensive execution by the end was getting so much better. And, we felt like as we watched in the beginning, we were getting good shots, but we just weren't making them, and our field goal percentage continued to climb as conference went on, and that was encouraging. Otherwise, I think we all might have just, it was brutal for a while.
Yeah.
That's something when we get Kaylee and Alicia back, they're both very high percentage shooters, and that will be good.
When the girls, guys, everybody they're offensive players in high school. I mean, they can score. Mm-hmm. Is it tougher to learn the defensive end when you get to college than as opposed to the offensive side?
I would say so. I mean, there's definitely some kids who really don't have the concepts that you need, overall, especially when you're talking about different schemes. We didn't play a lot of zone this year because we felt like it was just overload for some of those kids, and for them to be, you want them to be able to react out there and not be thinking the whole time. And so it was a struggle, but it was really neat to see the light come on for a lot of them, and hopefully that stays on over the summer, and we can pick up where we left off.
Well, and kind of a new experience too, Shannon. I mean, some of those kids really, when you think about it, probably didn't have to play a lot of defense in high school. They were out there to score every time they got their hands on the ball.
Oh, we heard, that's funny you say that, because we heard that multiple times from several of our freshmen. They go, wow, we used to just kind of roll the ball out here. Our girl from Malta goes, yeah, we had like 4 plays is all. I mean, we've got lots of different sets and lots of different looks. And she said, we basically had 4 plays.
Yeah.
And and then the other one, we had girls on the wrong side of their defenders where the ball would be over there. And I mean, it was just like, there were a lot of days we were like, well, it's kind of like kindergarten class. We got to just start over and make sure everybody's listening and get everybody in a straight line. And our older kids had a lot of patience and they did a good job bringing those kids along. So
Speaking of Malta, we have a pretty good player coming from Malta, do we not?
we do. Sophia Stiles, really good athlete, trackster as well. I'm going to tell Brian to keep his paws off her for sure. I think she has a state record in the triple jump, and she's the state champion hurdler and long jumper, and just a really good kid. Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, how many Malta kids have come to Lady Griz and had success, and I'm sure she's going to be right on pace with the rest of them.
Well, and not just Malta kids, but like all league Big Sky players.
Yeah, Skyla, Greta, Linda Cummings, Cheryl Keller, Julianne. I better not leave anybody out. I better go through Linda Mendel.
I think there's about 7
Haley
or 8.
Nicholson.
You're getting there.
Yeah.
And as Gurns alluded to there about the record as a player, as an assistant coach, not the kind of season that you are used to with the Lady Griz program. One thing that I'm sure did not waver very much was the fan support. I imagine that you got a lot of positive pats on the back, emails, phone calls, what have you from that fan base.
I got a lot of sympathy bouquets this year, Denny. I'm not joking. I'd come into work and I'd be like, wow, these are gorgeous. Who are these from? And I'd open them up. Oh, I don't even know these people.
Must have been from Brian. Yeah. Oh,
no. Valentine's Day? No.
Another one from a fan.
They were. I mean, it was, and so many neat letters from people I had no idea. I mean, I'd get emails from people saying, did you know that Coach K lost his first however many games? And do you know that, hang in there, and, we love watching the team, and they're improving, and just amazing support. And then I felt like our last few games, I mean, when I look back on that season, that's what I want to remember was the environment we had in those last few games and the way the girls played. And that just was amazing that despite our record, the Lady Griz fans didn't waver, and it was great to see.
Yeah, it was just kind of one of those givens, and you probably had to know, but I can remember the very first home game of the year, and that public address fella announces the starting lineups, and then
beautiful voice.
Thank you. And then I'll let him know. And
please do. I'll send him flowers.
After you introduce the players, you say, and the head coach, the Lady Griz, Shannon Schweyen, and that place just you had to have heard that. I mean, you're probably trying not to, but that place just boom exploded when we mentioned your name. That had to be a feel good way to get things started.
Well, it was very odd for me, the whole transition, being up in that, everybody kept saying, well, what was it like, your first game coaching? I think the moment it really hit me the most was in the locker room, just being up there in front of the team and writing on the board and talking to them and addressing the team. All the years, believe it or not, all the years Rob coached, he never got enough technicals to ever get thrown out of a game. So Annette and I never had to, I mean, there's often times where coaches say something on the radio, in the post game and get reprimanded and have to be bent. Rob never, So it was a new experience being up there. And then once the ball went up and the tip started, things were good. But there was a lot of interesting emotions leading up to that point.
When you were super competitive, as most great athletes are. When you lose a game when you're playing, you get pretty mad. Lock the door, go shoot, do whatever. Is it different as a coach? Do you have to calm it down so you can't wear it on your sleeve as much, can you?
No, definitely, you're right. And this year we had to find moral victories in different things. For example, Colorado State, we played right before Christmas, a very talented team, top 25 the year before. And that was probably our best home stand in the entire preseason, and the girls played them tough, and they were into it, and the crowd was into it, and it was right before Christmas, and I remember leaving and feeling like even though we lost, that was I feel like we won something, and there was a lot of positives that came out of that, and we had to do that all year. I mean, it was otherwise it wouldn't have. I don't know how we could have kept going. I've always wondered, how do coaches keep going in years like that? Well, I learned this year, you do have to, remember that the kids are great. They're working hard. They want to, be doing the best they can do and representing your program. And they didn't ask for all these things to happen. And at the end of the day, they're still Lady Griz, and they're just as important as any other Lady Griz who was there.
Is it weird not to think about it as a lot of times they say, well, a coach needs, you want to see what a coach does in his or her third year. Because in his or her third year, now it's their recruits. But that's not the case with you. You've been there forever. These are your recruits. Is that a little bit a different kind of feel to how you approach, I don't know, playing those players or deciding who's going to redshirt or the positives and the negatives? But they, you kind of already got your gang.
Yeah, that's a good question. One thing that was interesting for me this year, I think, is that of the group that we had, so many of those freshmen had never played under Robin. So that was new.
Great point.
I mean, I was the only coach they'd known. Obviously for the older kids, there are things that were difficult about transition from, a coach that's so legendary and everything else. And then I come along. And so I think it helped me for the most part, having that young group who, I was all they knew as far as a coach here at the University of Montana. And, they believed in what we were trying to do this year, and hopefully next year we'll have, a couple new kids coming in and some new scenarios, and it'll be a better year for sure.
No doubt. Hey, we're going to take a quick break here. We're talking with head coach, University of Montana Lady Griz basketball, Shannon Schweyen. We're going to talk about some fun stuff that's coming up here in the very near future when we come back on Sports Talk Tonight.
Sports Talk Tonight, live from the KGVO studio.
Missoula Sports.
We're back. Sports Talk Tonight brought to you in part by Bell McCall Ford. Great selection of new and used cars, trucks, and SUVs. Bell McCall is your locally owned low-cost auto dealer for over 100 years in downtown Hamilton. And by Granite Pharmacy, locally owned and operated pharmacy on South Avenue between Shopko and Big Sky High School. Find them at granitepharmacy.com. And our guest, Shannon Schweyen, brought to you, as always, as is everyone, by First Montana Bank. Your home for free Centennial checking plus unlimited cash back every time you use your debit card online at firstmontanabank.com. Back with Shannon. Hey, basketball camps.
Yes.
Big deal. When are those happening?
Well, we've got 2 in June, 1 in July. We have our team camp, which fires up right after school gets out, and then followed by our big overnight camp. And those are running back-to-back this year. So we'll have some tired workers, but it'll be good. We'll get it done in one fell swoop. But it's the 11th, 12th, and 13th is the team camp, and overnight is the 14th through the 18th of June. And then we have our day camp in July, which is the kindergarten through 8th grade. And you should probably come work that for some good birth control.
No kidding. I'm like, what? Oh, yeah, I get it.
Yep.
I get it. Hey, I've got a whistle I can blow.
Yep.
And an old MOA
official yeah,
jersey
yeah.
for football.
Perfect.
But
Perfect. You're hired. I'm getting you for team camp.
Oh my goodness. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Good one.
It is entertaining. They are absolutely adorable, and it's just fun to see those little kids get out there. And
Double
play some
dribbling is
basketball.
okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And before we talk poker, we should remind folks, if you do have a question or a comment for Shannon, please feel free to call us at 721-1290 here on Sports Talk Tonight. The what are we at? The 11th annual, I think. 10th annual Lady Griz poker tourney to raise money for the program. Right?
Yeah, that's right. And when is that, Shannon?
Coming up May 7th on Sunday, noon at Paradise. Play begins. And $100 buy-in, and all the proceeds go to, our fifth-year scholarships, summer school, things like that we really need for the program. So
Tommy McLaughlin is the gracious host over there at P Falls.
He's done a fabulous job for us, and we really appreciate all the help that he gives us.
$100 buy-in, right?
Yep.
And I think also when I was looking at the copy notes that Jordan Sullivan sent over, the top 3 finishers last year totaled $4,500 or something like that.
Yeah, good payout, and it's always depending on the number of players we have. But our sponsors right now are looking great, so. We need to get some people signed up, and that's the big push right now is getting poker players.
Do you get money back if you're the first one out?
You did last year, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Well, and also...
It's called the Guernsey prize.
They've got a lot of raffle drawings and stuff like that. You don't necessarily have to play. If you want to just kind of come watch and you want to enter to win some of the raffle prizes, you can do that too.
We have a great raffle. Nike gives us a lot of great stuff, lots of trips, lots of things like that. Yeah. So
you may have to hold those up.
Oh boy!
Oh,
here, these are good ones. These are good.
Yeah, you may decide to hold.
Do we have a phone call, Denny?
We do. So we tell Shannon she can take her headphones off, then we make her put her headphones back on. Al is on the line. How you doing tonight, Al?
Oh, super. Before I ask Shannon my question, I just wanted to tell her that I've been going close to 40 years. I've always loved watching you gals and all the people around me this last year. Rain or shine, we still love to watch you and the gals out there.
That's
Rain
great to hear. That's great to hear.
My question is 4 quarters versus 2 halves. Your comments, like, do you prefer one over the other, and what are some of the benefits over the other? Thank you.
That's a good question. There's a lot of people who don't really realize the change in women's basketball, but the NCAA implemented that in hopes to speed the game up and have better flow. I'm not so sure. The one thing I don't like about it, I don't like all the end of the quarter half court shots and long attempts, things like that. I do like. There's times where I like the foul reset. They reset the foul every quarter. However, if you're a good defensive team and you go into the fourth quarter and you've only got 1 or 2 fouls, it kind of penalizes you because you just start over. Mm-hmm. I miss the old 1-on-1. That's another thing that people go, what? There's no 1-on-1 in women's basketball anymore. And if you'd like I do miss that. So there are some interesting changes. And I would say that if I had to go back to it, I do like the 2 halves.
I guess what frustrates me about them, and I haven't heard any kind of reports has it generated more fan interest? Is it doing what it set out to do? But I guess what frustrates me about it, as far as making changes like that to shorten the game.
Why?
I'm a big fan of women's college basketball. I think most people that go to them or watch them on TV are big fans of women's college basketball. Why the heck do they need to have their the duration of a game shortened by 10 or 15 minutes? I guess that's what I didn't get.
Yeah,
I mean, I look up at I look at my watch when we're wrapping it up, and instead of closer to 9, we're getting out of there at 8:45 or whatnot. If it's a 7 o'clock start, it goes a little faster. But
well,
I don't think anybody's leaving the arena going, man, I'm going to come back more often because I get out 10 minutes earlier. I guess that's the length. To me, it was just a little bit of a
length of the game is. Usually happens at the end of the game. That's when it all bogs down and all that stuff. So I love the 1-on-1 is great too. I mean, it puts a lot of pressure. On
I guess one that I do like late in the game, if you call
the advance.
The advance. If you call a timeout on a dead ball instead of taking it out of the baseline, now you get to move it right in front of your bench.
Right in front of your bench, and they're really toying. Like they're toying with next year, allowing you to choose what side of the floor you want to put it on. Which I don't really know why that would make that much. You would assume you'd want it in front of your bench so that if you needed to call another timeout.
Can yell at
you. So lots of interesting rules. They're talking about possibly going to the men's restricted arc. So there's only one of them down there, so those referees can see things a little bit better maybe and clean that up a little bit. But lots of interesting rule changes and. I don't know. I think in the men's NIT, I heard they kind of experimented with the reset of the foul count. So it'll be interesting to see if the men go to that as well. But.
Well, and I personally, I think that whatever the men are doing, the women should do, and vice versa. I mean, why should it be?
And that's
any different?
How it was. Yeah, I guess that.
Is it okay that we vote too?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, just checking.
Wow. Is that women's suffrage?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never used that word before.
Yeah. You are learning so much tonight.
I am learned.
Yeah, you got to work a baskbasketball camp. This is a big night.
Yeah, he's got a big agenda now.
Trying to impress our
This
guest.
is a big night for you. You succeeded a feller by the name of Robin Selvig. Do you guys talk during the season? Did you ever call him and go, hey, how was if you don't mind if you don't want to talk about it, it's okay. I just wonder how your two's dynamic was during the season.
Well, I think he, I just kind of waited to see if he felt like visiting much about the year or anything like that. And I know he did come to a lot of the games.
Oh yeah, I saw him a lot.
But
hiding, but
yeah. Well, I was, yeah. I just feel like it's hard for him. I don't know. He doesn't talk a lot about it, so I'm sure it's difficult after that many years to walk away from it and not be around it. And so, we all just kind of have given him his space. And if he wants to come around, he'll pop into the offices occasionally. But yeah, it's kind of his own.
Right. If you had sought out advice, he probably would have offered.
Oh yeah, we visited a few times during the season, and it was interesting just hearing his take on a few things and the girls and the league and everything else. But there was many a day I wish he was out there helping us in practice, and it would have been interesting to hear a little bit more of things that he saw and recognized. But I think it was probably difficult for him to step away from it and really get away.
Well, you almost have to. You can't kind of stay involved. You almost have to make that clean break for probably a couple of years, and then maybe you can feel, because I'm sure he misses it. You do it for that long, so
yeah,
pretty normal.
Yep.
Kind of getting back to the makeup of your roster this past year, and I know it'll change because thankfully you'll have 3 seniors on the team next year, which pretty much triples what you had this year, and 2 of them were starters. So the makeup of the starting roster will change a lot, but still, in the backs of some of your opponents, opposing coaches' minds, I guess I would use North Dakota's coach as an example. I think you lost there by 10. You scored 62, but that coach has got to be thinking, damn, freshmen just hung 60 on us.
Oh yeah, that game.
Yeah, and that was not an isolated incident. I mean that happened a lot where they accounted for so much. And I know you're going to have some hard decisions where a couple of those freshmen may end up being redshirt sophomores and whatnot. But that had to have been, if you look at it in those terms, had to have been another very encouraging thing about the season and the kids you did recruit.
Yeah, it was. There were several games like that where, close to 90% of our points were scored by freshmen. Yeah. Not to say that our upperclassmen didn't do a lot of great things as well, but, we had a lot of nights where, Taylor Goligoski and Kenzie Johnston and those kids, they were feeling it and they were scoring it for us, as the season went on. But great contributions from those kids. Yeah. And I do think, with the crew we have back, that people are going to think that we will be somebody to be reckoned with, I hope, because I know our girls feel like, even our young girls, they didn't want things to be the way they were, and they want to prove that, they can be a part of a championship team, and they're going to be ready to roll.
You'll probably want to answer and say all of them, but did any of them exceed your expectations in terms of overall performance? Did a couple of them just pop up and go, man, I'm thrilled, but I didn't know she had that part of her game in her?
Yeah, I would say all of them in a lot of ways. Kenzie Johnston, to me, really had a remarkable second half of the conference season. Got Big Sky Player of the Week, which, with this young team, I didn't know if we'd ever be a part of something like that. Because number one, first of all, you have to usually win 2 games on a weekend, and then you have to have some really impressive numbers, which she did. The second half, her numbers were phenomenal. Taylor Goligoski had an amazing preseason, and became kind of the focus of what people started to take away. Hence, Kenzie's game came around also. Haley Nicholson had some really big moments out there, and then Maddie Schoening was really just kind of a steady Eddie. Not a lot of highs and lows. She started every game for us, just a really good defender, good rebounder, strong kid. And then, all of them. Gabby Harrington started the year just knocking down threes and burying stuff off the bench and gave us big sparks. And Emma Stockholm, just, at North Dakota, she brought us back into that game hitting outside three-pointers. And so they all just had moments where it was really fun to see them, just to evolve and kind of give us a glimpse of what the future is going to show us. And I'm probably forgetting a few of them right now, but can you think of any I'm forgetting here, Dennis?
No, I think you covered it pretty darn good.
I have the book rights, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
3 years from now.
What's the title? That's what I want to know. 23 and 7? Nope,
No.
7 and 23.
From the outhouse to the penthouse.
Something like that. I suppose too. I mean, you've got a very good coaching staff, and those kids are learning from you, the coaches. But I would think too that the young players like that, freshmen, they probably learn from experienced, really talented players during practice and in games, and you didn't really have that added luxury this year.
Yeah, and that was a new thing we did this year. We, a lot of people have used male practice players forever. We never have done that. We went out and we got 2 guys.
Did not know that.
Oh, Guernsey, he's lighting up. Maybe next year.
McGill Hall.
Next year, though, we could get you out there. You don't have you've exhausted your eligibility, though.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Let me just tell you, if you ever want to feel like you've been put through the ringer, try Garden and Lake down in the post.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
I didn't know that you had done that.
Yeah.
It was interesting watching that HBO documentary on UConn this past month and a half.
That was really good.
They had a lot of male practice there. What was that like?
Well, it was great. Yeah, they gave us looks of our opposing teams. We were trying to play. A lot of people do the dribble drive, and we would try to simulate it in practice with the kids that were left that weren't injured. And they're playing out of position and everything else. So. They came into practice. We could only use them a couple days a week, and they just were quick and athletic, and they weren't trying to block everybody's shot or prove anything, and they're just good kids. I'm not sure I can name them, otherwise I would single out who they are. But really, the girls really enjoyed it. They enjoyed the challenge of having to bring the ball down the floor against them and get entered against them, and if they got them blocked out and could beat them to a loose ball, it was something versus not to say that the second string kids aren't competitive, because they were this year on this team, but a lot of times you get kids out of position and you're not really getting a good look at what the other team does. So I felt it was really beneficial for us. And then it allowed us to rest those kids in conference when they needed time off. And you're not, we were getting down to 8 and 9 kids in practice. Yeah. So we needed something. And Coach Petrino hunted them down and did a really good job.
That'd be me. Something.
Yeah. Not quite sure what, but you could get some rebounds. I remember.
Hey, Guernsey, bring me another towel and some water.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Shannon, we wish you all the luck in the world.
Thank you.
Totally rooting for you. I have no doubts that things are going to be definitely on the upswing, and next year's going to be a.
I can't wait. I just cannot wait.
I think it.
I'm like that with the men's team too, but the Lady Griz probably more so.
When I say I got the book right, it's going to be a neat story though when you're looking back on it 3 or 4 years.
Well, it'll be a year. I remember for sure.
Yeah.
That's it'll be interesting.
Yeah. Shannon Schweyen, head coach of the Montana Lady Griz. We wish you well, and we will talk to you. Hopefully before the start of next season.
Sounds great. Always a pleasure, you guys.
Good to see you.
All right. When we come back, we will have Stupid and Steel Sports Talk tonight. Gerns and Bedard.
Now back to Missoula's Sports Talk tonight on KGVO.
Missoula Sports.
Every second of every day.
We are back. Sports Talk tonight, brought to you in part by Jerry Wessel's Tire Center. Locally owned Les Schwab Tire Center provides the best tire value promise. Spring tire sale going on now. Visit them online at jerrywesselstirecenter.com. And by CHS Mountain West Co-op, Western Montana's source for Cenex fuel, feed, fertilizer, clothing, and tack for over 75 years. And what a privilege and a treat. Head coach Shannon Schweyen, Lady Griz basketball. Man, oh man, I tell you what, it's always neat when you know somebody for so long. I've known Shannon since 1990 when I got here to school.
Yeah.
And
yeah, you've known her a lot longer than me. I've known her, I guess, since about 20 years, I guess.
to see them as players, and then to progress and work their way up to whatever they're doing, and then to become the head. I mean, just so proud and so happy for her.
I hope the listening audience enjoyed that interview as much as we did, because she is a terrific interview.
Oh, yeah.
Just
Oh,
really
yeah.
is. You know, there's not a question you throw at her that she doesn't, take time to very, very eloquently answer. So good job, Shannon Schweyen. Ladies and gentlemen, we do believe it's time for Scott Guernsey's Steel of the Week. That brought to you by True North Steel, Western Montana's industry leader in quality manufactured and fabricated steel products.
You know, Denny, if you haven't noticed over these past couple years, I like to do the steals when they benefit my favorite teams. If you haven't noticed,
Well,
Seahawks and Jayhawks and
yeah, it's not like they're bad steals, but yeah, there's
well, and just to prove to you that I'm not a complete homer.
Oh, you're a bigger man now. Huh?
Just listen to this. Major League Baseball has started. We're in the second week of the season. The Seattle Mariners were playing the Los Angeles Angels this past Sunday. The Mariners go up on top 8-1. In the top of the 8th, they score another run. They are up 9-3. Then the Angels come to bat in the bottom of the 9th. They're at home. We're in Anaheim here, but they're called the Los Angeles Angels now. But anyways, they were California at one time.
Weren't they the Angels of Anaheim at one time too? They were the L.A. Angels. They were the California Angels.
Angels in the outfield. Just
do they have the halo on their ball cap anymore? Oh, I love that.
Oh, I don't think so. But
all right.
Anyways, Mariners. Let's go back.
Yes, sir.
Mariners up 9-3, bottom of the 7th. Albert Pujols comes up, hits a home run, first batter.
Okay,
it's 9-4, and it was a significant home run. I don't remember what it was, and they were thinking
number wise. You mean?
Yeah, they were thinking you must have passed somebody on the list or something. Oh, that's nice. The Angels got their butts kicked, but this is a little thing they
Albert
can take away.
Got a milestone home run.
Well, 4 other hits and 4 walks later.
4 walks.
Albert Pujols comes up again and hits a single to drive in 2 runs as the Angels come back and win 10-9. 10-9. It reminds me, Root Sports, they show the Mariners, and they're on so late, and I remember I'd go to bed so many times in the 7th inning, the 6th inning, the Mariners are up, and I'd wake up in the morning, and damn it, we lose again.
Yeah.
Bullpen. Well, here you go again, Denny. Angels stole that one from the Mariners 10-9.
Oh, I'm sure you'll make it up somewhere during the season. You'll find a steal of the week that makes the Mariners look good. But that has been brought to you by True North Steel, Western Montana's industry leader in quality manufactured and fabricated steel products.
Chocolate-covered grasshoppers at Safeco Field. They sold them out like the first night.
Wow.
Yeah, how about that?
That's interesting.
It is. I
think that'd be a trend.
Yeah, well, my friend Smitty can eat grasshoppers.
Okay.
I can tell you that. Stupid athlete of the week, Denny. And we're going to get into the Masters before we get off the air here. But Dustin Johnson, #1 player in the world, wins his first major last year after coming close on numerous occasions. 3 straight PGA victories that he's played in. He's on a 3 tournament win streak. The night before the Masters, he's in a rented house in his stocking feet. I'm assuming he's a wooden staircase. He slips and falls on his back, both of his elbows, and has to drop out of the 81st Masters tournament. Maybe not so stupid as maybe he's my clumsy athlete of the week.
Yeah, accidents happen.
They do, but come on, man. Take the elevator. Get a house with an elevator. Or have your caddy take you up the stairs.
Take no chances whatsoever.
So
you are a national treasure.
And you know what? Hopefully he's okay at the top of his game.
Yeah, that's just that is a bizarre deal.
It is. So he's my stupid athlete of the week.
At least, Gerns, he wasn't out doing some stupid activity that he shouldn't have been doing prior to a major pinnacle event in his career.
At least that's the story he
That's
gave.
what we'd like you to believe. I wonder.
Dun, dun, dun,
God, Guernsey's a stupid athlete of the week. Another thing we should probably get in our final 2 minutes here is that, gosh, I don't think that we have had a University of Montana wide receiver do a forward somersault over a blocker and a defender since Scott Guernsey was playing. Have we?
Well, I got tripped, but and it wasn't a flip; it was a somersault. It was like a lurch somersault.
I hope that's a sign of great things to come during the season when you get on ESPN plays
Top 10
during a practice.
Wow.
During a spring practice, you make the top 10.
Jerry Louis McGee goes airborne. Be careful, buddy.
Yeah.
Be careful.
Jerry said, well, one of our safeties, Justin, he said, Justin Strong was coming at me, and he's really big, and he hits really hard. I didn't want to get hit, so... Yeah,
spring game next Saturday in Butte, Ranchi Stadium.
I do believe that there's one more in Missoula. I think we can get to if you want to go see the team. I think they're playing again Friday at 5 like they did last Friday. But yeah, the official spring game it is in Butte this year, and you get to go.
That's right. And speaking of the Masters, we touched on that. Sergio Garcia gets his first career major. He basically was the most successful golfer to have not won a major. 73 times.
Yeah.
He went out, came close a couple times. Padraig Harrington beat him a couple years ago in the Open and the PGA.
You really don't need to follow professional golf all that close to know that name, because he was kind of one of those.
He was a prodigy.
He was like a teenage phenom, it just never. Not that he wasn't good, but he just never quite. Made it to that point. Phil
Mickelson had gone 46 major tournaments before he won his first one. Sergio 73. Sergio beats Justin Rose in a playoff. The first hole, he birdies number 18. Rose bogeys, and it was good for Sergio. I like to see him do that.
Good stuff.
Hey, get your butt to Access Fitness. Bikini season is coming, gentlemen. See you next week, Denny. Sports Talk Tonight.
Bye, Gerns.